Welcome, everybody. My name is Todd Keirstead, and you are watching TK Talks, stories of inspiration both on and off the golf course. I have somebody that is pretty big and pretty powerful in the adaptive golf world today. I have Tracy Ramin. Tracy, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
What are you doing down in Michigan these days right now? I know we're all kind of riding this thing out.
Yeah, the sun's finally starting to peek out here, and we're all itching to golf. I do have a studio in my garage, so I've been hitting and putting and chipping, and it's great to keep the swing moving. But we've been doing that kind of all winter, and really ready to get out. And so hopefully we get things cleared up soon, so we can start swinging the clubs.
So when did you first get into golf? What age were you, and how did you get into it?
Our neighbor growing up played, and when I was about 12, 13, he invited my dad to go play. And we always thought, oh, hit that silly ball and go chase it. What are you doing? And then my dad kind of got into it a little bit. By 13, I was picking up the game of golf and learning to play. And played here and there then. And then about 17, I started playing a bit more. And by the time I had graduated, by the time I was 18, I was playing in golf leagues and, playing pretty regular. And, I kind of grew up on a small mom and pop course called Beechwood Greens. And we would, you could nearly drive every green, but the beauty of that course is you become a very good chipper because you're chipping every single hole. And, I definitely attribute a lot of my golf success because I'm a pretty good short game player. I can get up and down from about anywhere. And, Beechwood was a big part of that, actually.
Yeah, it's a scoring part of the game right there, that short game. Good for you. So you're able to, maybe try to drive the green. You miss the green, you get up and down, and away you go. You make birdie and head on to the next tee deck.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about October 9th, 1998. It was a huge turning point in your life. Do you mind describing what happened?
No, I had moved back from California like in 95. I went out there for a couple of years just to explore life, I guess. And, always played out in California. When I got back to Michigan, I started a construction business with my best friend, Eric Ray. And we would get up in the morning and be at the golf course at 6:30, be done playing and walking by 8, and be wherever we had to be, by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And, we'd work late in the evening. And that was a big, part of the morning and very motivating. And Eric actually was in vacation in October of 98, and I had someone else working with me. I dropped some equipment off of my work truck. One of the ladders, 40-foot extension ladder, got untied on top of the work truck. I pulled over. I didn't want nobody to hit this thing and get hurt. I looked down. It was on I-75 north of Flint, heading south. And I looked. I remember clearly. It was clear. I ran out, bent down, and picked that ladder up, and boom, lights out. And so a semi was in the middle lane, and he went to the fast lane to give me room. And when he did, a pickup passed him on the right and kind of swerved wide into that between the middle and slow lane, because the ladder was laying right on that line. And when he did, I was holding that ladder, and he clipped me doing 80 miles an hour. I flew 100 and some odd yards. My dad actually found my ankle bones the next day after the police investigation. I had a hole above my left hip so deep you could fit a baseball. It ripped my left leg, ankle bones, and leg bones out. I broke the head off my femur on my right leg. I severely dislocated my left shoulder. Most people don't know, but I can only lift my left arm this high. The shoulder, there's no muscle here at all. The deltoid scapula is all totally gone. I broke my jaw in 2 spots and had to have my jaws wired shut for 6 weeks, and eating mushed up all kinds of stuff just to have some flavor other than mashed potatoes was amazing. I lost a lot of weight during that time. I also lost all my blood plus 2 pints during the trauma. The doctors actually gave me a 2% chance to live. My mom actually wrote a big memoir kind of what happened for like 20 days. And, you know, I haven't read it in years, but it's kind of hard to read it, you know, because all this time I've never really, you know, I just woke up, and, you know, after day 7 of being in a coma, and, you know, my leg's gone, it's not growing back, this is that. Well, that whole prior time, my family, you know, didn't know if I was going to live or die. They really went through a lot of things. And I didn't really, I realized it, but I was working with or helping a buddy a few years ago, and remember watching a show, and the guy was laying there in a coma, and the buddy was over him, and it just struck me, man. And I was crying, and it was like, all right, this is what everybody, you know, had went through, you know, because I was just always positive about it. It just is what it is. It's not changing. So might as well just, you know, I put my one shoe on and my other shoe's already on. So I just got to slip my leg in and I'm ready to go. And, you know, that's been my attitude. You know, I played golf like 3 months later in North Carolina after the accident and a rickety temporary prosthetic. But, you know, I've always been pretty motivated to do things. And, you know, many people, you know, we don't know what our purpose in life is. And I have never known. And then about the last 10 years, you know, I've been involved with disabled golf, and I've been really pushing to make golf a Paralympic sport. We've had just huge support all over the world with that. And as a result of that, I've made a lot of friends. You know, before I've been in my accident, I had no friends outside the United States. And I probably have friends in 60 countries now. And, you know, it's definitely a blessing to know, you know, some great folks around the world who overcome their challenges.
So golf has taken you around the world. Now, would you say, you know, this direction path when you had the accident, you're more heavily involved in golf now than you ever thought you would be. So this accident completely, you know, gave you a 90-degree swing, not only in your career, but in your 180 really, and into a new life. And you travel around the world right now. Do you think you would be doing what you're doing right now in the golf industry if it wasn't for the accident?
You know, probably not. You know, I was always a pretty good golfer, you know, and I was, you know, low 80s guy. And, but then after my accident, you know, I've had 12 or 13 surgeries. And so I'd have surgery in the winter, golf in the summer. And I was able to improve my skills, you know, in the meantime. And I've been a teaching professional now for about 14 years. I've you know, got introduced to the Michigan Amputee Golf Associations 20 years ago, actually. That was my first ever disabled tournament. Just it's such a family of brotherhood and sisterhood there, you know, because at my club, if I go to my club, you know, I'm an amputee or another amputee or another person with cerebral palsy that's a, you know, a player, you get recognized for that. But, you know, when you all come together as one, nobody really cares. They're just giving you the business no matter what, because that's what friends do, you know. And so since being involved with disabled golf, I was elected to the board of the Michigan Amputee Golf Association. A few years after that, I was elected to be the Midwest trustee, which Bradley Schubert actually is now the trustee. Last year, I was elected to be co-executive director with a good friend of mine, Anna Benza, for the National Amputee Golf Association, which is one of the oldest disabled golf associations in the entire world. And then I helped start a group called USAGA, and I'm the director of competition for that event, which is based out of Chicago, but that group supports like 38 different disabled organizations around the country, just to, you know, bring awareness. But since I've built a great relationship with people at the USGA, I know top leadership there, which, you know, I would never thought, and it's kind of humbling in a way, but, you know, everybody's just regular good folks. And I think if you treat people how you want to be treated and, you know, act fair and, you know, use common sense, I think, you know, you gain respect and trust from others that really helps promote and, you know, just build a better quality of life for many people.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here because I know you're a humble guy, but let's talk about some of your personal successes with adaptive golf.
Okay, well, I'm an adaptive golf, teacher as well, and I've done so many clinics. I've been to the Shriners PGA event the last few years. During the PGA event, and we'll be on the range hitting right next to Dustin Johnson or Brooks Koepka. I know Bryson DeChambeau pretty well, and to help these different kids start learning golf and bring in the joy to them at the clinics. I actually did a clinic in Atlanta last year and helped Brett Perriman, who was ex-Detroit Lion, who was a stroke survivor. But personally, I won my first tournament in 2010 in Michigan for the first time, and it was a big deal to me. I hadn't won any events, and I've been really working hard. And I was probably one or two at that time handicap, and and it's a tough 36-hole 2-day golf event, and I won that in 10, turned around and won it again in 12, and then I won it in 17 and 18, I believe. I won it 4 times. So that was we have a 12-time winner from years ago, Mr. Bill Harding, who was always an impressive individual and just nothing special, just kind of poking it out there. And but since playing in the Michigan, I've become part of the Nationals. I made the top 10 at the National Amputee Tournament. I don't know, maybe 10 years in a row, 8 years in a row, quite a bit. I think I placed second a couple years ago. I've won the Missouri. I've won the Southern. I won the Georgia State Golf Association's first ever world ranking event at the Bobby Jones course in Atlanta in 2019. That was the last world ranking event of the year last year. I've won the Midwest Amputee Championship. I think that's the ones I won, and then I was captain of a Phoenix Cup team back in 2018 in Rotunda Golf Course in Florida, where I had a team of 16 players playing against a team of 16 players from Europe. At the start of that event, one of their players had passed. And since, we've created a memorial event that is a Ryder Cup style event that is taking place this September 7th through the 13th at the Celtic Manor, which is the 2010 Ryder Cup course. And that event is, comprised of mainly the players who were at the first event, who were there as this memorial. As we continue and grow, we're going to select the team a little differently as we move forward, but it really, promotes disabled golf. And, I'll say this to people a lot of times. It's not always just about, the best players who shoot the best scores, which is great. And it's impressive to see some great numbers, but, I know a lot of the players, they love to come watch, our Chad Pfeiffers and our Kenny Bonses and, our Chris Biggins. These are great players. But I really think for me, it's equally impressive to see a seated player riding around in a pair golfer, a solo rider, or a cerebral palsy guy playing to the highest level, whether they're, striking the ball for the first time or playing to a high level, just overcoming what their challenges are and getting out there enjoying it it's pretty humbling. I mean, to me, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty powerful when you can experience that, but also give somebody a purpose again. And it's, you're doing it on a daily basis. You've said some incredible names there that are doing it on a daily basis. And if there's one thing I want to ask you, it's, you got over, from that date in October, you were back on the golf course in 3 months. What would you tell somebody who's maybe going through that situation, that's struggling a little bit, that maybe needs that little push to say, hey, let's give it a try again?
Yeah, I mean, just coming to the events, if you can make it to any disabled tournament, is I don't know. It's like going to see family, and you meet so many new people. And one of the best things is like, I have a prosthetic leg, and I would say almost every component of my prosthetic leg I seen someone else wearing at an event, and you say, "Oh wow, that part's cool," or "That rotator's awesome," or "The foot, man, this is amazing." And so you share stories, and you're there for each other. And last Friday, we've all been locked down, and we did this house party app with a bunch of friends. We kind of call our little golf crew when we go to events, and that's players and wives and girlfriends. And we had like a trivia night online, all of us. And you just build relationships, and that are just lifelong friendships, with some really fantastic people.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what TK Talks is about. What we're trying to do is share inspirational stories both on and off the golf course. Tracy, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. I know when people see this, they're going to be pretty inspired with what you do. So keep on doing what you're doing. I know you're doing incredible things. I know, you're working towards trying to get golf into the Paralympics, and hopefully that's going to come sooner than later. But as I said, thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, yeah, thank you. And if I could mention one more thing, Callaway has just started an adaptive golf team. And I was one of the 4 initial players chosen to be a part of the Callaway adaptive golf team. And they're going to fully staff myself, John Bell, Jonathan Snyder, and Carlos Brown. And we're going to do some fittings for some of our players, and, really promote adaptive golf through Callaway. And they've really stepped up to make this, and the team's going to grow over the next few years as well. So anybody who's out there interested, increase your social media presence, work on your game. We, got a big mission ahead of us, and, we're trying to get support to make some big things happen for adaptive golfers. So thanks, Todd. I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me today, and I hope we get to play some golf soon, my friend.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon, okay? And it was a pleasure meeting you.
All right, cheers.